Welcome to Hunter Fuel, a supernatural rewatch podcast for adults who enjoy their show with a chaser. I'm Liz.
And I'm Lynn.
Thank you so much for joining us for another bonus episode as we head back into the topic jar. Cheers.
Cheers.
Oh no, my shoe fell over.
I can't drink.
Mm. Well, you can drink. I've seen you.
Oh, that's so damn good.
This one is good. I think this is our winner.
Oh,
Yes.
so good. Oh,
All right.
heavens.
So, Lynn, why don't you remind us what we're up to?
Okay, so I decided that we needed to just create some random topics, obviously about the show. Again, please help us come up with a better name for this stupid jar, because topic jar is just lame.
It's yeah, it's not great.
No, now, like 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 I've said, this is definitely going to contain spoilers. So if you have only watched as far as like the normal episodes, we're talking well into like season 4
Hmm.
and even slightly beyond that. So just forewarning you.
You've been warned.
So yeah, so this is us being about as authentic and unscripted as you can conceivably get. So let's dive back in. And again, if you can come up with stuff you want us to talk about in the jar, please put it in the comments or whatever, and we will happily put it in here.
Indeed.
Go ahead,
All right.
Liz.
So our first one is, what is your biggest pet peeve of the show in general?
Ooh. Um, you know what? I'm gonna have to it has definitely changed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I love Jensen's respect for his coworkers. I genuinely do. But when you're on camera, you're not Jensen, you're Dean. And to me, when your coworker, when Dean is, I mean, let's be honest, he'll sleep with anything that doesn't stand still in of the female persuasion long enough. But when they're sitting there, like pretty much flashing him, and he keeps eye contact and doesn't even, in one episode that we actually just watched in season 4, he didn't break a smile.
He's in a he's in a room full of strippers and he doesn't even like seem to notice. Well, and it's interesting you mentioned that, and I think it says something about their character as human beings,
Yes.
that the only time they're not believable in their roles is when they're asked to objectify women. But like if you go back to the pilot, here's Dean. He Adrian Palicki, who's stunning, and she's essentially in her underwear and she's braless, and he's saying all the right words because she says like, I'm gonna go put clothes on, and he's like, oh no, don't, not on my account, but he never breaks eye contact, and you do see this throughout the show that he's like, okay, Dean is, a woman takes her bra off, he's looking at her tits.
Yeah.
There's no way Dean does not ogle a topless woman,
Yeah.
but yeah, it, you're right. It's one of the few times the boys are not believable in their
It,
roles.
yeah, and
Sharon and Jensen.
yeah, it it does drive me nuts. I am very happy that the show stopped doing my original pet peeve.
I know this annoys you so much, and I don't get it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I don't like it when no, and it stopped doing it. But I don't like it when something is formulaic. Like break it up.
Oh, this is not what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah, no, I don't
This
like
is
it when something is formulaic, when it's like, okay, opening scene. We know what's gonna happen.
no.
We know what's gonna happen.
This is not what I thought you were gonna say.
Wow, I actually surprised
You did. You did. You surprised me. You, I am never going to understand why it bothers you that that they put up a tarp so they don't get drenched.
It does.
And I can't understand. actors.
Yes, I
They're
know.
doing a job. I don't want to stand in the freezing cold Vancouver rain to do my job either. Like, it drives you nuts, and I am never going to understand why.
I mean, this show. Now, I'm a little sleep deprived this week. I've been working a
Just
early shift. No, it goes with it. So I was watching a show, if not yesterday, the day before. I should know what TV show I watched yesterday. And the actors were in the pouring down rain,
Mhm.
and they were soaked. And
And
they,
they were miserable.
they miserable
Yeah.
son of a bitch.
Yeah, you and I are gonna have to agree to disagree on
I-
this one. I still think you just like seeing them wet.
As I have always said, if we agreed on everything,
Well, life would be boring.
it'd be very boring.
Life would be boring. So, for me, and this is again something they get better at as the season goes on, or show goes on, excuse me. There was a really noticeable lack of diversity in the early seasons that you and I we did a bonus episode on the Paley Television Festival, and it's an entire panel of white men, and I think it shows in the stories they do and how they handle female characters and whatnot. And it's something that, I mean, keeping in mind the show was on the air for 15 years and the social dialogue changed over that time. That I think as a culture we've become much more aware of the
Yeah.
importance of diversity and representation. So you definitely see that, and it's in the early seasons. It's something that from from a modern perspective, looking back 2 decades, that it's something that stands out. I think that it wasn't
Yeah.
there. Oh,
Yeah, and that's something that bothers you much more than it bothers me.
yeah, yeah, it's something I notice. Um, whose turn is it?
I think it's mine.
Okay,
Not that it really matters.
we've done one, and I don't even remember.
Well, we gamed ever.
We
So
have
we this is not our first cocktail of the night.
no.
So
You can't drink all day if you don't start in the morning.
so if you could change one thing in either of J2's performances
Mm,
as
interesting.
Sam and Dean, what would it be?
Mm.
Mm,
And this was your question.
yes.
This is your question.
So if I could change something.
Hmm.
Well, the problem is that it's changed. My answer has changed.
You know what? While you're thinking, I will say that, and this is something that um, I've tried to caution you about. This is one of those shows where every time you have a question or something bothers you, if you're patient, they'll get to it. They'll address it. I'm not going to say there are no hanging chads, but in general, like if you're patient, they'll address it.
Yeah, so now I would have said, because I had originally written this question
You did.
uh, when I think I was just at the end of season 2, I want to say.
It was pretty early.
Yeah. And at that point, I felt like and I would never tell Jensen Ackles how to play his character, not by a long shot.
There is no one on earth who knows Sam and Dean Winchester as well as Jared and Jensen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would have liked to have at that moment
Mm-hmm.
seen Jensen peel away a few more layers and have Dean be a little bit more complex. And I'm now partway through
And
season
see,
4, and oh, he's a lot more
and
complex.
what I always say, I say, "Ooh, wait till wait till you see." You know, and this is something that and you and I were talking about this a little earlier that in these early seasons, Dean Dean is a hound dog. He really is. Like he sees women pretty much as objects for gratification, and the reality is, um, he's never had a role model
No.
for healthy relationships with women. Mary died when he was 4. John immediately went out on the road
Yeah.
looking for the thing that killed her. uh, John didn't have long-term relationships with women
No.
around the boys.
No.
So the only thing that they have to kind of inform how they treat women is the television in their motel room, which would have been showing reruns of shows from the 60s and 70s.
Y-
So it's not surprising.
No.
And yeah, I'm taken over your question here, your answer, I should say.
Mhm.
But yeah, given time, which I think really is the gift
Mhm.
of a show being on as long as Supernatural was on, is they have the opportunity and they take the opportunity to have real growth in the characters.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. 100%. So yeah. So
What was the question again?
no, no. I said no. I'm trying to think like now that I'm in season 4, like,
Sure.
is there anything I would change about how they're doing it? And the answer is not really. I mean, are there little things that I'm looking forward to seeing how the storyline progresses? Because
Oh
right
yeah.
now I want to wring both of their necks
Oh,
right now.
get e- embrace that feeling because that is not going to get better.
So yeah, so right now I'm seeing how this progresses.
Yeah.
So
Wait till you see. You know what? I think I might have to go to your answer for the previous question.
Mhm.
Like I want to see Dean look at their boobs.
So you want to see him be more authentic to his
So
character.
and that's the only circumstance where I feel like he's not.
Yeah.
I mean, there are things that the characters are written in ways that maybe feel not 100% authentic. I'm not going to say much now. Wait till you see. Um, but but in terms of their performances, um, again, from the perspective of having seen the whole show, I I can't imagine anyone else. Like to me, they are Sam and Dean. And
No, absolutely. I'm not saying somebody else playing
no,
them.
no, but I'm just saying, like, I can't think of anything other than I want Dean to look at chicks' boobs. Like I can't think of anything I would want either of them to do differently. It, I mean, I think it takes them a little time to get their arms around the characters in the beginning, which is
Yeah.
normal.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
Yeah.
mm, all right.
All right.
If you have a different opinion, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
Okay, back into the jar. Don't get stuck. Okay, what have we got here? Favorite guest character, not Sam or Dean, and why? All right, and I'm gonna confine my answer to seasons 1 through 4 because there's a couple of characters who show up later I'm big fans of, but I'm gonna stick to seasons 1 through 4. Do you need me to go
Ooh.
first? Why you think?
I'm trying to remember. For me, ooh.
This happens when we're in restaurants too. The server will come over and say, "Are you ready to order?" And she says, "Yes." Um, every time.
Every time.
No, no, not every time.
time when I do that, I'm trying to find it on the menu.
They do run away. I swear. I swear things move around on the menus.
Yes, I totally know what I want. I just can't find it again. Um, I don't remember which character it was that
What can you give me?
it was one of um it was one of the one that I made the comment I want to say it was Cass. I think it almost positive was super oh no, the one in the haunted painting where she
Oh, Sarah, the auctioneer's daughter, art
yes,
auction's daughter. I
I loved her because I mean, and she was not an actress. I felt like I did know her,
mm,
but I like it might have just been she was she has that kind of a face that looks like you see her.
well,
She was a very strong, like she took over scenes, and
she
I
did.
loved that. Loved it.
She didn't take any of the boys' bullshit. Like
Yeah.
I see why. I really liked Ronald Resnick. Chris Gautier played Ronald Resnick in Night Shifter. The Listeron. I thought he was on screen so little, and man, he owned that role. And he really tragically passed away not that long ago, which made me very sad. But yeah, I just again I thought he had such a memorable turn. Like he owned that role right away. And I thought he really did something special with it. So
Excellent. Excellent.
that's me. All right, one more out of you.
Alrighty. Mm,
All right.
yeah. No way in the world.
I didn't even write that one big.
Not for me. Favorite Dean lines, seasons 1 through 3.
Okay.
Oh, oh, holy crud.
Anyway, Dean's got some memorable. He has some memorable lines, I will say. Um,
Promise the one that's coming to mind is not memorable. He just says it all the time. The it's definitely not a memorable line.
no.
It's just funny.
Do you find yourself saying that more now? I never used to say son of a bitch that much until I started watching Supernatural, and now it's like
It rolls off the tongue.
it does. It's just applicable in a variety of situations.
I keep saying damn.
Damn it. I did. I went so in Philadelphia there is an abandoned prison called Eastern State Penitentiary. If the rumors are true, it's haunted. Um and it's just kind of a fun tour if you're into history. It's kind of fun. So showed up for the tour of Eastern State, and our tour guide's name was Sammy. And I spent the entire time in my head hearing Dean shout, "Sammy!" I'm like, do I do it and see if he knows what I'm talking about? No, because if he's never seen the show, he's gonna think I'm just an asshole. So I did not. I didn't, but man, it was tempting. Okay, so for me, confining myself to the the early seasons, because he's got some great lines. I One of the ones I love it
Oh.
early on is when they get arrested and he's like, I'm Dean Winchester, I'm an Aquarius, I like long walks on the beach and frisky women. Oh, we lost Lynn. We should entertain ourselves. We'll get her back soon. This is the thing about shows that are written as well. I'm just going to try to pretend this isn't happening. That's the thing about a show that's as well written as this is that, like, you don't have to be funny. You just have to repeat lines that they wrote.
I also find you funny, so that doesn't help. And I've had a couple, which also isn't helping.
Mm, these are really good.
Yes, they are.
This is so if you're curious, this is what we're drinking right now is the artist special, which amusingly enough is the featured cocktail for Provenance
Yes.
that we mentioned before. So these are really good. You may wanna, if you want the recipe, you can go back and watch Provenance and our episode on Provenance, and the recipe is there. It's delicious.
Yeah, it really is.
Okay, so are you sticking with son of a bitch?
There's so many lines. I don't know whether they're Dean,
Mm.
Sam, John's.
It's probably not John's.
Like there, have been, like, especially during heartfelt bro moments, there have been some really good
Mm.
ones. Like I'd have to think much longer than we want to watch me think during this podcast.
All right. Well, maybe we'll circle around
I
back to
said,
that
let's
one.
circle around back to
Is
that
that
when I've got some time to think.
All right. Well, that is where we're gonna leave that this episode. Um, as always, we love hearing from our SPN family, so please leave us some comments. If you have come up with a better name for this, definitely let us know if there's anything you think that we should put in the jar. And if you will pull your question out, we will do our best to answer it. All right, folks. Thanks so much for coming along with us for the ride. Be safe.
Okay.
Bye bye.